Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bulldog Breakdown with Coach Rocco. Coach, it's been a while since we've been able to hang out like this.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
Looking forward to the new year.
Another season is upon us. I've had a lot of people come up and ask me in the halls of LCA and over at TRBC and asked if we are going to do another season. And then you and I connected in the hall, and just seems the right thing to do. We had so much fun last time. And I don't believe in, luck or anything like that, but I'm not going to also avoid the fact that we did the Bulldog Breakdown and won the state championship. So
I guess that's it. So
cause or correlation, I don't know. So let's talk about that real quick, because we ended the season and we kind of wanted to do a podcast after the state championship, but life got crazy. So let's just to open things up. Let's jump back in time just a little bit. State championship game. Reflect on that a little bit for us. On what was that game like from your point of view?
Yeah, I mean it was a tremendous experience, and our program has been very fortunate to win 6 state championships under our reign. One with the 7 with you involved.
That's right.
And they were all done in the independent league, and so this was our first one that we won in the VHSL, which was very satisfying. And we've been very close. The last 4 or so years we've been very close, but just haven't been able to close out for whatever reason. And so for this past year to be able to get it, it was very, very rewarding. Our senior class was a great group of young men, and was very, thankful that they got to experience that. And our program is cooking, we're winning, but it just doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen just because you've had years of good experience and good production. So we got to line it back up again this year and see what happens.
I remember watching that game, and it felt to me like in the first half, not to get into X's and O's because that was a long time ago, felt to me in the first half we really had control there, and then they didn't give up without a fight. Yeah. And but ultimately too strong.
Yeah, they were a very good program. They've been in the state, they've won state championships and been in the state finals multiple times. And we were in the state finals just 2 years prior to that against Phoebus, and woulda, coulda, shoulda. We had we felt probably wasn't a great call,
right.
And had a touchdown call back that could have sealed the game. And so as we got to the end of that game, as you were referring to, our game this past year against Lafayette, the end started getting a little bit hairy there.
Yeah.
There were a couple penalties called and whatever, and it was like, man, we're not going to let this happen again. And so we called basically a trick play to say we're going to score here and stop the madness,
right? Or
this is going to continue to get a little crazy. And ran a little trick play, got James Deo the ball. He threw a double pass down to Dalton Nesselrode, and that was what put us up 2 scores,
right.
And then a little bit more of a comfortable lead.
Yeah. And then off season, we've seen several of our guys move on. Some of the seniors move on to playing college.
Yeah.
Got to actually walk by practice up here at Liberty and saw Weston Woodard out there today. And
we have from that class last year. Weston is at OU. Tyler Murray's at Mercer College. We still have a couple players playing at VMI. I'm missing one more from this past year. I'm drawing a blank right now, but I mean, we're very blessed to have. We got over 22 guys playing across country right now, and all doing very, very well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So here we are. We've come off season. You guys have been working really hard all the way back in the spring, all the way through the summer, and you've had one scrimmage against Christiansburg.
Right.
How did that turn out for those that weren't able to make the journey over there?
Yeah, well, I mean, we started off slow. We have some really young puppy dogs playing in some really key positions. I mentioned Tyler Murray's name a second ago down at Mercer. I mean, Tyler was a 4-year starter up front. And so now we have a sophomore playing in his spot. We think he's going to be good, but I mean, there's going to be a little bit of a drop off there until things get going. And then we have 2 other senior linemen that we have to replace, and they're being replaced by sophomores as well. So we just weren't hitting on all cylinders in the first series against Christiansburg. But then as we settled down a little bit, we started doing things that were more LCA style football, and we ended up, pulling away and kind of winning what would be in a convincing fashion, but it really wasn't a convincing win, to the coach's naked eye.
I gave you things to work on. You want to be able to come away and work on some stuff. So here we are. We're sitting here getting ready this week for the benefit game with Appomattox.
Right.
What does a game like this? This is an exhibition game,
right.
But it's full game style. I mean, we're gearing up, doing everything like a regular game. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is really a cool thing that the VHSL does. I think most states will allow, 2 scrimmages, and usually like kind of controlled scrimmage. This is a game. So, I mean, like the NFL does, they play exhibition games to start the year. Everything is played just like a game, just doesn't count on your record. Appomattox has had obviously a very good program, won several state championships in Class 2, and they're kind of a local school that hopefully will bring a nice crowd, and should be a nice, beautiful day, a beautiful night Friday, and so hopefully a good night all the way around. But it'll give our guys a chance to play kind of in game conditions.
And so that's kind of the benefit for you, is that it's not just everybody standing along the side watching one thing at a time.
Right. That's right.
Clock management and game situation.
Yeah, and just like you alluded to, just a week from then, we're playing Salem, and it's a huge game and against a really high-quality program. So you don't want to go into that game not having the experience of, like you said, clock management, utilizing the space on the field, being able to get play calls in and out. You don't want your first big game to be that experience.
Yeah. Before we get into Salem, because I do want to talk about that a little bit, I don't want to overlook Appomattox. I know there's a lot of work to do to be there. But as much as you can, tell us, for those that are, maybe this is their first year with us, or they've been here and they're wondering what kind of changes are we going to see as far as personnel. You talked about some of the young guys in there. Who are some players that we would need to watch for, some things that might be changed for us this year?
Yeah, so, up front, I made the comment already about 3 young guys that are going to be filling in some guards and tackle positions, all sophomores. We think that they have great upside, but, they still have some growing and maturing to do. But we're excited about them. I think maybe one of the biggest changes that wasn't even necessarily graduation. We lost our quarterback just a couple days before the start of the season. Our quarterback made a decision to kind of focus on being a track athlete, and he ended up moving to Atlanta, Georgia, and is doing some track and field training and doing like homeschool kind of stuff down there. So we were scrambling right out of the gate, trying to come up with a new quarterback, not even thinking we were going to have to do that. And had a quick kind of evaluation process, but out of the early camp and our evaluation, another freshman rose to the occasion.
Wow.
And Tyler Jackson, who's a freshman, has won our quarterback position, and he's a savvy, really good quality athlete, and had a nice night at Christiansburg the other night, but still he's learning as well.
How does bringing a freshman quarterback in like that, how does having somebody like Gideon in the backfield help him I mean, we got some big games coming up right away. So what does that do for your confidence to know that he has that guy like Easton up on the line?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge, obviously. But the reality is, people think, hey, man, just turn around and give Gideon the ball. Everything's going to be all right. Well, we found out this past week against Christiansburg, I mean, their game plan was just to load up and stop Gideon, and they stopped him. And we had to throw the ball in order to loosen things up a little bit. And Tyler did a good job. He threw three touchdown passes and loosened things up. And then it was more suitable for running the ball. And so I mean, it's total offensive package, and especially with some inexperience on the offensive line, we're just not going to be able to knock people back like maybe in the past. And so, certainly having Gideon and what he can do is an ace in the hole for us. But, I mean, we've got to be a complete football team nonetheless.
How's our defense look?
Yeah, I mean, we're still trying to figure some positions out. I think we have the potential to be pretty good. We held them to one touchdown against Christiansburg, and it was kind of a blown coverage. So, really, they probably wouldn't have scored at all. But yeah, I mean, we're very much a work in progress right now, as everybody is, I'm sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we talked about it, alluded to it. A couple weeks from now, Salem is coming here. Who would have thought last year when we were getting ready to head to Salem that they would be the ones circling it on their calendar? Because we went into their house last year, and one of the most exciting high school football games that I've watched in a long time was being over there, and their crowds. They're incredible. So, do you think they'll travel? What?
Yeah, absolutely.
What? When you think of Salem coming here, what are some things that fans would know about this team? What are they going to see when this team comes to town?
Well, Salem is a perennial powerhouse, and they're in Class 4, so they're one level above our class. I mean, many of our fans would remember last year when we were playing state championship game in Class 3 over at Liberty Stadium. The game prior to ours was the Class 4 championship, and Salem was playing Phoebus. So, I mean, Salem is no stranger to playing playoff, high-level caliber type competition, and they're not used to losing, especially in their own house. So, yeah, they'll come with revenge on their minds, I'm sure. They have great fan support. We're actually putting 600 more seat bleachers over here on the visitor side in the next week to accommodate that, and hopefully other crowds that we have during the year. But yeah, I mean, if you're an LCA Bulldog fan or just a high school football fan and you're here in Lynchburg, that is the game. I mean, you talk to a lot of people around the state. I mean, that's the game of the game one. That was the game of the week of game one in the state of Virginia. So there's going to be a lot of people here that just aren't even LCA and Salem fans.
Right.
So get here early and come and enjoy a Friday night football.
They're just coming out to watch good football and stuff.
Yeah,
I know. For me, to watch that happen, Salem is always talked about as one of the best teams in the state, and to have them coming over here, it's a really neat thing. Neat thing to watch, and it's nice when we have a lot of fans out here. So definitely want to see them come out. Overall, the Seminole District, I know that's a ways away, but who are you seeing that's making strides forward that you're
Yeah, I mean, this district is such a meat grinder, week in and week out, and the coaching is so quality. It's hard to, make any real predictions on how. I mean, I think Coach Bradley does a great job at Heritage, and I know he's got a lot of talent over there. JF is good, A Glass is good. Brookville got a new coach, a guy that's going to bring back some old school mentality, and he'll get them going, I'm sure. I think Chris up at Amherst is in his second year. They're going to be much improved. And, who am I left? Rustburg, they have a coaching change, so it's a little bit up in the air. I don't quite know what to expect, but they were going to have some players back. And then, Liberty, I mean, they're trying to find their way as well. So, no, you don't have an easy week in this district for sure.
No. Well, we got a lot of great things coming up this year. I'm glad we get to do this again.
Thank you so much.
We'll keep doing it each and every week. And those of you watching, if you got questions for Coach, I know he likes asking them. We had some good questions, some really deep questions, and then some fun questions last year as well. But we're excited to partner together and learn stuff.
Yeah.
But we are going to be here this Friday against Appomattox. It's going to be a good one. It's a lot of fun to come out. Circle that on your calendar, and then just 1 week later, kind of like NASCAR has Daytona at the beginning of the season, the big one. We got a huge one that we need you to circle your calendars for. Get out here, be loud, and let these Bulldogs know that you're behind. I'm really excited to see these new guys on the team, see where we go from here. But it's going to be awesome. Coach, thanks for being here.
Yeah,
We'll
let's do it again.
We'll do it again next week.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
That's it.